Sure, you've seen ads, you've seen the news, you've gotten emails. MTN is selling its shares, and I've gotten so many questions around it. Is everything okay? Should we be worried? Why does it feel like they're hawking the shares on their head? Does it mean that nobody wants to buy? Should I buy? How much should I buy? So in this video, I'll be providing answers to all the questions. My name is Ola, and on this channel I basically explain personal finance, investing, and the economy in simple English. So if you are looking to know more about finance and investing, then this is the channel for you. Please subscribe and hit the notification button so you get fresh content from me every week. So yes, straight to the point. What's happening? MTN South Africa, MTN Group, the MTN Group is selling a portion of its shares in MTN Nigeria. So if you're in Nigeria, you know MTN now, the telecoms company, telecom service provider that we all sort of subscribe to. Everybody pretty much has an MTN line, and so their major shareholder, their major owner, is reducing their stake in their MTN Nigeria from about 78% to about 65%. Basically, this is the first phase, and in this first phase they are selling 575 million units of MTN shares at 169 naira per unit. Now, the first question, how did they get that price? Before this whole publicity that you are seeing and all this noise, there was a more quiet announcement, and it was to institutional investors like your pension funds and your asset managers, fund managers, and co. And there was basically like an auction book building process where they arrived at that price of 169. So basically what's happening right now is that after doing that book building, which was a little quiet, the rest of the shares are going to be sold to retail investors at 169, which was the price that was decided by institutional investors. Now, the next question I've gotten is, should we be worried, right? Why does it feel like they are hawking this thing everywhere? Because everywhere you turn, you are seeing an advert, you are getting an email about it. Yes, they're actually hawking it, but the reason is because every stockbroker is on this transaction. So every stockbroker is pushing out their own ads, is sending emails to their own clients. So it just feels like everywhere you're going, you are seeing something about MTN at this time. And it's good, they're actually pushing publicity. And that's why so many questions are coming up. Now, I got another question. Is everything fine? Why are they selling? Shouldn't we be worried? If they are selling, why are we looking to buy? So the first thing is that it's not just happening in Nigeria. They're doing IPOs, and they're doing public offers in they have done in this year public offers in Rwanda, in Uganda, and in Nigeria, and I think one other country, maybe Ghana also. But then this is basically part of a strategy remake that they've tagged Ambition 2025, and they're trying to focus squarely on Africa. Now, the company wants to be the leading digital solution provider to drive African progress by 2025. So basically, the telco is looking to pivot from being a product to being a platform player. First of all, they've divested from Middle East entirely. Now, one, just put it aside, they're out of the Middle East. It's not something that you should be worried about. Also, because in reality, Nigeria is MTN's most profitable market, because it generates about 32% of its revenues compared to South Africa that generates about 25%. So is MTN Nigeria fine? Yes. Are they going out totally? Are they exiting totally? No, they're just selling a stake. So MTN is the largest mobile network operator. It controls about 39% of Nigeria's mobile subscriber base as of third quarter 2021. Its active data users of about 32 million is like the highest among the four mobile network providers. MTN also received the payment service banking license this year, and they're currently bidding for a license to be a 5G network provider in Nigeria. Now, what that means is that if you think MTN internet is good, by the time they get on the 5G network, it's going to be off the roof, and it's going to support things like the metaverse, things that are going on globally, right, in 5G network, in the 5G space, right? So is MTN fine? MTN appears to be fine. If you've gone this far, right, before I answer the question about should you buy or should you not buy and how much should you buy, please subscribe to my channel. I have a target of getting to 10,000 subscribers, so please support my ministry. Subscribe. Next question, should you buy? I would say that it's a stock. The company, I've talked about the company and how the company looks good and blah, blah, blah. But then beyond the company, there's also understanding the risk of investing in a stock. Now, if you don't really know much about stock investing, I have a video on the questions to ask before investing in a stock. I will drop the link in the description box. I also have a masterclass, a free masterclass on where and how to invest. Between those two videos, which won't take you too much time, I guarantee that you'll have clarity on how stocks work generally and what you should be thinking about when investing in a stock. Now, that being said, I will give you 4 things to consider, and I want you at this point to bring out a pen and a paper and answer some questions, because even if the company is good, it might not be suitable for you. So I want to ask you 4 questions that you answer, give your own personal responses to them, and then you make a decision. Question 1: are you convinced that MTN would continue to grow? So historical performances are there, but are you convinced that MTN will continue to grow in the next 3 to 5 years? Yes or no? Question 2: what are the things that you see that makes you confident that it will continue to grow in the next couple of years? Write them down, whatever it is. Oh, everybody has MTN shares. Their market penetration is good. You see them everywhere. Blah, 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 blah. The world is moving. Whatever it is that you think, write it down. Question 3: what is the major risk of investing in this stock? Like I said, I have a video about stock investing. You might want to check it out so you understand the risk, because the risks are risk common to all stock investments, and there are some specific to the company. So what are the risks in this stock? The major risk is that your price will go down after you buy. So it's at 169. Another thing to note also is that this is the first phase in the sale, right? Meaning that this 575 million unit, which is quite a lot that they're offering right now, there's still some more coming. So there's that chance, right? So what's the risk? Number 4, can you live with that risk? Now, if your answer to number 1 and number 2 are both yes, then go ahead and buy. And if you have any no's, right, then I think you should take a step back. Don't go with the herd mentality. Don't go with that fear of missing out. Follow your own understanding where you are and stay out. The next question that I've gotten a lot is, how much should I buy? I'm like, guys, I don't know how much you have now. How can I tell you how much? Like, that's actually a number. So if I tell you 100 million and you're looking, I'm like, where am I supposed to get that from? Like, okay, if I tell you 50K, I'm like, oh, that's so small. But I'm like, how am I supposed to know? But tell me, like, how am I supposed to know? Anyways, I will give you another guide for that, and it's still a couple of questions. That same sheet of paper that you brought out to write those first set of answers, continue along again. First question: how much money can you afford to put away for the next 3 to 5 years? I say that because the nature of the stock market is that, for reasons that have nothing to do with MTN, the price of MTN shares can go down. That is the reality of the market, and you need to be able to live with it. So, but then what happens is that in the long term, right, it can go from 169 to 150, then it can go to 180, then come back to 169, then go to 200, then come back to 180. It can be doing that yo-yo. But in the long term, as long as it's a good name, it's expected that the price would gradually go up, even with those blips in between, right? So the idea is that you need to have staying power. Remembering that the offer closes on the 14th of December, how much you have right now to put into this offer that you can afford not to touch, not to have to make a call on in the next 3 to 5 years. Write it down. Question 2: how much money can you put away in MTN shares that if it halves in the next 1 year, meaning that it goes from 169 to 80 naira, you would still be fine in terms of the impact on your mental health, the impact on your sanity? I asked that question because, first of all, there's going to be increased supply. This is the first phase of the sale, right? And depending on the timing of the next phase and where the market is at that time, we honestly do not know what impact that additional supply is going to have on the pricing. However, if you feel like the company is a long-term play, then you're not concerned about that, because in the end it will be fine. Now, the next thing is your mental health. What happens is that when people can't take it anymore, the price drops from, you see it at 169, then you see it at 150, then you see it at 140, and you're like, when I saw it at 150, if I had sold, I would be all right now. Then you see it drop to 120, then you see it drop to 90, and then you say, you know what, this thing can go to 70, let me just sell. And from that 90, it starts going up. And you've taken a loss you didn't have to take. But if you understand that it's long term and your heart was prepared for such movement from day zero, you are more likely to sit still and ignore and possibly even buy more if the fundamentals still remain the same. So that's the next question. Between those two questions, the recommendation is go with the number that you arrive at with number two question, meaning that how much would you put in that if it got halved in the next 1 year, your heart will still be fine. That's the number that you should invest. I hope this was clear. I trust this was useful. If you do have any other questions around the MTN stock sale, I'm happy to answer. Don't forget that you can't outsource your health and your finances. You have to engage. And please don't forget to subscribe and share this with your friends also, so they can draw benefit from this. And if possible, take action before the offer closes. Bye.